Snow hammered against the glass walls of the Phoenix Tower as if the winter storm were trying to claw its way inside. Employees hurried through the lobby, eager to escape the howling wind, everyone except one small figure who stood shivering near the security desk. Her boots were soaked, her cheeks flushed pink by the cold, and her thin coat seemed hardly enough for autumn, let alone the blizzard raging outside. And that was when Alexander Hale, CEO of Hale Industries, a man feared for his precision and admired for his brilliance, stepped out of the elevator and heard her trembling voice. "Sir, my mom didn't come home last night." It was a sentence that sliced through the noise of the lobby. A sentence that stopped him mid-stride. The security guard looked helpless. The girl, no more than 7, was holding a faded backpack to her chest like a shield. Alexander had faced high-stakes mergers, corporate betrayals, economic storms, but nothing hit him quite like that child's frightened whisper. He approached slowly and crouched down so he didn't tower over her. "Where did you last see your mother?" "She came here yesterday," the girl whispered. "She cleans your building sometimes." "I waited and waited, but she didn't come back." Her voice cracked as she wiped her nose. "I thought, maybe you could help." Alexander felt something shift deep inside him, an old, buried echo of nights when he had stared at a door that never opened, waiting for a parent who never came. "Tell me your name," he said. "Lila." "Well, Lila," he murmured, removing his heavy coat and wrapping it carefully around her shoulders, "you came to the right person. Let's go find your mom." They started immediately. Within minutes, the building's operations manager confirmed that Lila's mother, Marisol Torres, had clocked in the night before, but never clocked out. Security footage showed her pushing a cleaning cart into a service hallway on the 23rd floor around 8:14 p.m. And then, nothing. She vanished off camera as if swallowed by the building. The storm outside worsened, shutting down half the city. Emergency services were overwhelmed. If Marisol was out there, hurt or in danger, they couldn't rely on anyone else to help her. Alexander tightened his scarf, took Lila's small hand gently, and said, "Stay close." The elevator groaned as it climbed. Power flickered. By the time they reached the 23rd floor, the lights were dim, buzzing softly like tired fireflies. Lila held his hand with both of hers. "This is where she works?" he asked. "She cleans all the offices here," Lila answered. "Sometimes she sings while she cleans. I draw pictures until she's done." He nodded, jaw tight, scanning the hallway. A cleaning cart lay half-tipped over, supplies spilled messily across the floor as though knocked over in a struggle. Mop water had dried into thin streaks, creating faint trails. Alexander knelt and touched one of the dried streaks. "Something happened here," he murmured. He checked locked supply rooms, storage closets, mechanical spaces. Nothing. But then he noticed a draft. The emergency staircase door was cracked open, snowflakes scattering inside like tiny white moths. He stepped toward it, pushing it fully open. Snow had blown onto the landing, an almost impossible sight this high up. And then he saw them. Footprints. 2 sets. One larger. One smaller. Stumbling. Dragged. Lila gasped softly. "I know those prints. Those are my mom's shoes." Alexander froze, pulse picking up speed. "She went outside," he said. "We need to follow the trail." He picked Lila up. She was already shaking uncontrollably in the cold, and hurried down the stairs. They exited through a little used maintenance door that led directly into the blizzard. The city felt like the edge of the world. Wind howled mercilessly, snow swirling in frantic spirals. The footprints trailed off toward the alley beside the tower, half buried by the storm. The trail led them behind the building, toward a row of dumpsters and industrial storage containers. Suddenly Lila pointed ahead. There. Something was moving, slumped, behind a stack of crates near the loading docks. Alexander ran, shielding Lila from the wind. As he drew closer, he saw a woman curled on the ground, one arm cradled against her ribs, the other weakly brushing snow from her face. Marisol. Her lips were blue. Her uniform was torn. She tried to lift her head but couldn't. Alexander knelt beside her. "It's okay. You're safe now. We're getting you out of here." Tears streamed down Lila's face as she pressed herself against her mother. "Mom, please wake up." Marisol's eyes fluttered open at the sound of her daughter's voice. "Lila, I tried to get help." Alexander carefully wrapped his scarf around her, lifting her gently into his arms. She winced sharply, likely a broken rib or two, but she didn't complain. I slipped, she whispered weakly. Hit my head on the metal stairs. I tried to call out but no one heard. I couldn't move. You don't have to, he assured her. We're taking you inside. The climb back was brutal. Wind fought them at every step. Lila held her mother's hand the entire way, whispering encouragement, tiny breaths forming clouds in the freezing air. Back in the building, medics, those still available despite the storm, met them in the lobby. Marisol was treated for hypothermia, a cracked rib, and a mild concussion. Lila never left her side. Alexander hovered nearby, unable to walk away. Hours passed. When Marisol was finally stable, she reached for his hand. Thank you, for finding me. You fought to stay alive for your daughter, he said quietly. I only followed the trail. Later, after the medics left, Lila tugged at his sleeve again. Sir, are you going home now? He hesitated. I can. But, do you want me to stay until morning? Lila nodded. Mom says people don't usually help like you did. Alexander sat beside her, the storm still raging outside the glass walls. He looked at the little girl leaning against him and the exhausted mother resting safely at last, and something inside him softened, something he hadn't let himself feel in years. Maybe they should, he said. Morning came with pale golden light filtering through the tower's windows. The storm had finally passed. Marisol woke stronger, holding her daughter close and crying softly into her hair. Alexander stepped aside to give them space, but Lila ran to him anyway, wrapping her arms around his waist. Thank you for bringing my mom home, she whispered. He bent down, his voice gentle. You made sure she wasn't alone. That bravery matters. In the weeks that followed, Alexander quietly arranged for Marisol to have a safer job within the company, one with better hours and full benefits. Lila started attending an after-school program the company sponsored. And though he never asked for recognition, people noticed the change in him. The CEO who once walked with hurried steps now paused more often, listened more closely, softened in ways unexpected. But for him, the moment that mattered most came one snowy evening months later when Lila visited his office with a small handmade card. On the front she had drawn 3 figures holding hands in a field of falling snow. Inside, in shaky handwriting, she had written, "Thank you for not leaving us behind." Alexander held the card for a long time after she left, staring at the little picture of a family, something he had long ago convinced himself he didn't need. Sometimes, he realized, the most powerful changes in life come quietly, through a frightened whisper in a winter storm, and the courage to follow a little girl into the snow.